Now, I've gotten some very tough calls from parents of cadets and from former cadets at West Point about my saying last night that the president had gone to speak up there to maybe the enemy camp. I was talking about the skepticism I saw on the faces in the crowd as President Obama spoke. Also, of course, about how West Point was where President Bush went in 2002 to make his most hawkish speech before the Iraq War. Now, I've heard too many politicians say things like, oh, that was taken out of context to explain something they wish they hadn't said. Let me just say to the cadets, their parents, former cadets, and everyone who cares about this country and those who defend it, I used the wrong words. And worse than that, I said something that is just not right. For that, I deeply apologize. As those who watch me regularly probably got right away, my point was that the military up at West Point was probably a skeptical audience for President Obama, given his strong position against the war in Iraq and generally more dovish image. I was wrong to make that conclusion based on the lack of applause or apparent enthusiasm in the ranks of officers and cadets last night. Cadets, one former cadet and a friend of mine just told me, aren't supposed to show that kind of reaction to a speaker. He, a former cadet, reminded me that soldiers, including those now in training to face the enemy, want wars to be fought effectively and ended as quickly as possible. I had no reason to assume that the cadets at West Point or their officers who were present last night are more hawkish than the president. People who have watched me over the years know I think of my strong devotion to this country and strong gratitude toward those who serve it in the military. It's because our military is so good and true. I want the civilians who make the policies and set the missions to get them right in this country's best possible interest. And by the way, it's something we're allowed to argue about in this country. Whenever I meet someone with a service record, I always say, thank you for your service. They know I say it, and I hope they know I mean it.